have done the same. They're the experts.
When they call you an expert, you have to have a prediction. It has to be way in advance, and it has to be absolutely right. So set in stone, way in advance. We're going to fill the bracket in right now. Your Final Four and national champion in pen.
Well, for me, Jay, it's Duke, Pittsburgh, Ohio State, and Kansas. Bill Self told me earlier in the week that he loves his team. Athletically, they may be the best perimeter defensive team he's had at Kansas. Ohio State has a lot of veteran experience back, led by David Lighty, who, by the way, played in the Final Four 4 years ago. And then Pittsburgh, Jamie Dixon's team, makes its first Final Four appearance this year because of that residue and culture of toughness they have. And, of course, it's hard to pick against Duke. A lot of experience back and a brilliant freshman point guard in Kyrie Irving.
Len?
Well, my Final Four picks are Duke, Michigan State, Kansas State, and Gonzaga. And my national champion, as you guys pelt me with test my insanity or sanity, but I think Gonzaga is one of those teams that has been dancing around the edges for a long time under Mark Few. They've got size, they've got experience, and, you know, they're playing a tough schedule early in the season. Duke certainly Kansas State. I think that will test them, but it'll also forge them. And with national sentiment after what happened with Butler last year, I think the momentum goes to that mid-major Gonzaga.
You are now the mayor of Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. That is going to put you in great stead. Jimmy?
I go with Duke, Michigan State, Ohio State, and Pittsburgh. I think when the bracket comes out, Duke will have the 7 best players. And I think the 7 best players normally win the national championship. What I love about Ohio State, Jared Sullinger gives them that inside score and frees those other guys up on the perimeter to have a terrific year. And Pittsburgh, built with a bunch of guys that they weren't highly recruited. They've played with an edge. They keep a hunger about them. Very difficult to beat them.
Well, when I look at the Final Four, yeah, everybody's going to have Duke getting there. But the question mark I'm going to have is who's going to replace John Shire, Lance Thomas, as well as Brian Zuback controlled those offensive rebound situations when Duke missed the 3. But we look at Michigan State, Draymond Green. He knows how to get it done. Tom Izzo, the last 12 years, been there 6 times. And Kansas State, I think Jacob Pullen and company, with Curtis Kelly in that front line, they will make a mark and make that chance to knock off Kansas, but to get to the Final Four. And finally, it's going to be Florida, and I think Florida's going to win it all. Why? 5 starters back that average double figures. When Alex Tyus decided not to go NBA and decided to stay, and when you take a look at Billy Donovan's depth, they're going to come at you hard, they're going to come at you strong, and I really think their defensive pressure is going to bother a lot of teams. I think Florida can go back to the days of Joe Kim Noah when they won 2 in a row and be national champs.
Okay, well, my Final Four is Duke and Villanova, and I have Michigan State winning the national championship. I always love them defensively, but on the offensive end, I think Kalen Lucas, he's going to be 100% healthy come NCAA tournament time. I think Darrell Summers is going to play this year like he did in the NCAA tournament in 2010, and they're big guys, Derek Nix and Adrian Payne. I think one of the things that Michigan State needed was quality size. Those guys will provide that, and Delvon Rowe is going to be 100% this year. They'll have guys to be able to consistently rebound, score down low in the paint, and I think that's going to be the difference maker from Michigan State. I have the Spartans cutting down the nets in 2011.
Yeah, I think in this group of 6 experts, we would have had Purdue in these Final Fours if not for the loss of Robbie Hummel. I had Purdue in my Final Four to start the season off, but with Hummel's loss, I've had to make some changes. I've got Duke, Michigan State, Kansas, and Kansas State. And I've got Michigan State cutting the nets down. I think Duke has the most talent. They do have some experience issues to make up for, and some guys who were stars in their roles last year. They're role players, but they were stars in those roles. I think Michigan State's been knocking at the door for so many years. You mentioned 6 Final Fours in the last 12 years for Tom Izzo. I think he likes the chemistry of this team. They've got all that experience back. If Kalen Lucas comes back 100% healthy from that injury he suffered in the second round of the NCAA tournament last year, I think Michigan State is going to cut the nets down. That's our Final Four. Those predictions are never wrong, so take them to the bank. It says experts up there, and it says it for a reason.
We will mark it down. And we have a couple more Final Four predictions coming up, because next, Adrian and Andy get their shot to pick the field in Houston.